It's Thursday, February 8th. Welcome to the AI Factor. I'm Noah Wave, your guide on this exciting journey through today's news. In today's news roundup, recent polls indicate declining support for Democrats among Black and Hispanic voters. In the Nevada Republican primary, Nikki Haley's unexpected defeat by none of these candidates underscores dissatisfaction among some voters with the current candidate field. President Biden's decision to skip the traditional Super Bowl Sunday interview sparks debate, and the Florida Supreme Court's upcoming hearing on a proposed abortion rights amendment carries significant implications for the state. Additionally, Mexico overtaking China as the leading source of U.S. imports signifies a notable shift in global trade dynamics, while Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey's nomination of her former romantic partner to the state's Supreme Judicial Court draws criticism despite her insistence on the nominee's qualifications. Are you ready for a deep dive into the AI factor? Recent polls have shown that Democrats are losing support among Black and Hispanic voters. For example, a recent Gallup poll found that Democrats' advantage over Republicans among non-Hispanic Black adults is at its lowest point in the history of Gallup's polling. This is a significant change from the strong support Democrats have traditionally enjoyed among these groups. Another poll from the Economist YouGov showed a decline in support for President Biden's handling of the pandemic and the economy among Hispanic voters. This suggests that Democrats may be losing ground with this demographic as well. These trends are supported by other polls, such as one from Politico Morning Consult, which found that Hispanic approval of Biden's handling of the economy has dropped significantly. This is particularly concerning for Democrats, as Hispanic voters have been a key part of their coalition in recent elections. In addition, a recent poll from the New York Times and Siena College found that Democrats are losing support among young Black and Hispanic voters. This is especially concerning for the party, as young voters are often seen as a key part of their base. These polls show that Democrats are losing support among Black and Hispanic voters, and this trend is particularly pronounced among young voters and those who are dissatisfied with the party's handling of key issues. In a surprising turn of events in the Nevada Republican primary on February 6, 2024, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley lost to none of these candidates, as a significant number of Republican voters chose to reject all the candidates on the ballot. This unexpected outcome highlights the dissatisfaction among some Republican voters with the current field of candidates and the party's direction. The Nevada primary, which was overshadowed by the state-run Democratic primary and the Republican Party-run caucuses, saw a low turnout among Republican voters. This low turnout, coupled with the option to vote for none of these candidates, led to Haley's defeat. Haley's loss in Nevada has raised questions about her viability as a presidential candidate and the potential impact on her campaign moving forward. Despite her performance in the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primary, Haley's loss in Nevada has put a spotlight on the challenges she faces in gaining the support of a broader base of Republican voters. As the Republican primary race continues, Haley will need to address the concerns of voters who chose to reject all the candidates on the ballot and work to build a more robust and united coalition within the party. The outcome of the Nevada primary serves as a reminder that the road to the Republican nomination is long and unpredictable, and no candidate can take their support for granted. Keep in mind that Nikki Haley was the only major candidate on the ballot, as other candidates chose to participate in the GOP-run caucus instead. President Joe Biden has decided to skip the traditional Super Bowl Sunday interview for the second year in a row, citing a desire to give the public a break from politics during the big game. While some critics have questioned this decision, others argue that it may be a strategic move to avoid potential pitfalls during a high-profile interview. Biden's decision to forego the Super Bowl interview comes at a time when the 2024 presidential election is heating up. Some political analysts believe that Biden's absence from the interview could be an attempt to avoid any potential gaffes or missteps that could be used against him in the campaign. The Super Bowl Sunday interview has been a tradition for many years, with presidents and presidential candidates using the platform to reach a large audience and discuss important issues. However, Biden's decision to skip the interview for the second year in a row has sparked debate among political observers. Some have argued that Biden's absence from the interview could be seen as a missed opportunity to connect with the American people and address important issues. Others have defended the decision, saying that it is a smart move to avoid any potential controversy during the highly watched event. As the 2024 presidential election approaches, it remains to be seen how Biden's decision to skip the Super Bowl Sunday interview will be perceived by the public. While some may view it as a missed opportunity, others may see it as a strategic move to avoid potential pitfalls during a high-profile event. Former President Donald Trump expressed his interest in replacing President Joe Biden for pre-game presidential interview. However, CBS Sports Chairman Sean McManus quickly shut down the idea, stating that the network is not interested in interviewing Trump because of the politics. In a significant development for the future of abortion rights in Florida, the state's Supreme Court is set to hear arguments on a proposed constitutional amendment aimed at ensuring abortion rights. The political committee, Floridians Protecting Freedom, which launched the amendment drive in May, has submitted enough petition signatures to get on the ballot. However, the Supreme Court must review the ballot initiative to ensure it meets legal requirements. The proposed amendment, if approved by the court and passed by voters in November, would enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution. This would make it more difficult for the state to restrict abortion access in the future. The amendment would also prevent the state from enacting any laws that would interfere with a woman's right to terminate her pregnancy before the fetus is viable. Proponents of the amendment argue that it is necessary to protect women's reproductive rights in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. They contend that the amendment would ensure that women in Florida have access to safe and legal abortions, regardless of any future changes in state law. Opponents of the amendment, including Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, argue that the language of the proposed amendment is deceptive and could be used to expand abortion rights in the future. They also contend that the amendment would prevent the state from enacting any laws that would protect the health and safety of women seeking abortions. The Florida Supreme Court's decision on the ballot initiative will have significant implications for the future of abortion rights in the state. If the court approves the amendment, it will go on the November ballot, and voters will have the opportunity to decide whether to enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution. If the court rejects the amendment, it will not appear on the ballot, and abortion rights in Florida will remain subject to state laws. As the state Supreme Court prepares to hear arguments on the proposed amendment, the future of abortion rights in Florida hangs in the balance. The outcome of this case will have far-reaching consequences for women's reproductive rights and the state's ability to regulate abortion. In a significant shift in global trade dynamics, Mexico has surpassed China as the leading source of goods imported by the United States. This change comes after more than 2 decades of China holding the top spot. The shift is largely attributed to a combination of factors, including political tensions between the U.S. and China and the U.S. government's efforts to import from countries that are friendlier and closer to home. One of the key drivers of this change is the ongoing trade war between the U.S. and China. In recent years, the U.S. has imposed tariffs on a wide range of Chinese goods, leading to a decline in imports from China. This has created an opportunity for other countries, including Mexico, to increase their exports to the U.S. Another factor, contributing to Mexico's rise as a leading source of U.S. imports, is its proximity to the U.S.-Mexico's location, makes it an attractive trading partner for the U.S., as it allows for faster and more efficient transportation of goods. This is particularly important for industries that rely on just-in-time inventory management, such as the automotive and electronics sectors. The growing trade relationship between the U.S. and Mexico has been facilitated by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, which replaced the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, in 2020. The USMCA has strengthened trade ties between the two countries, making it easier for Mexican goods to enter the U.S. market. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey recently defended her decision to nominate her former romantic partner, Judge Gabrielle Wolohojian, to the state's Supreme Judicial Court. The nomination has drawn criticism from some who question the appropriateness of the choice given their past relationship. In response to the concerns, Governor Healey emphasized that Judge Wolahogian is the most qualified candidate for the position. She pointed to her extensive legal experience and her record of public service as evidence of her suitability for the role. The governor also noted that a 5-person committee she assembled to vet potential nominees unanimously recommended Judge Wolahogian for the position. Despite the controversy surrounding the nomination, Governor Healey remains confident in her decision. She stated that she is proud to have nominated someone who is so deserving and qualified, and she believes that Judge Wolahogian will serve the Commonwealth with distinction. As we wrap up this episode of The AI Factor, we invite you to join us again for another captivating journey of the news. If you enjoyed today's exploration, don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to stay updated on future episodes. If you have thoughts, questions, or intriguing stories you'd like us to explore, feel free to reach out to us at podcast@aifactor.news. Remember, we're committed to providing unbiased perspectives. We will never pull you left or right. Our mission is to take you straight to the facts. Stay curious, stay informed, and always keep an eye on the ever-changing landscape of the news. Until next time, this is Noah Wave, signing off.